ball, RJ.
I'm here with 247 sports recruiting analyst Gabe Brooks. Gabe, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good, bro. We were just talking about traffic. Traffic still like what does your speedometer say?
Well, right now it's bumped back up to almost 60, so you can't really complain about that. But
Okay.
for going from the north side of DFW where I live in Denton down to south side Cedar Hill where I'm going to see a spring game, there are several spots in that trip that you're going about 5 or 10 miles an hour for a while.
Ugh. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say count your blessings because tornado weather just came through here and we got a little flooding going on. So could be worse. Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
So I asked you to do this call with me because there were three players in particular that, OU fans would be interested to know about: Major Burns, Seth McGowan, and Jahari Rogers. And I wanted to start with Jahari Rogers because he's a legacy, and you would almost think that that dude would be a shoe in. But anything that we know about recruiting, to be sure, is nothing is a shoe in.
Yeah.
So, what can you tell me about his evaluation, and what do you see on tape?
Well, it's interesting because he's getting recruited. Most of the schools recruiting him or that have recruited him want him for a position that he doesn't really play that much for his high school team. Uh, he's a starting quarterback at Arlington High, big 6A school here in DFW. He's a true dual threat guy. And having said that, if you look at his stats, production isn't everything, but it's something. It means I put some stock into production, and he threw for almost 2,700 yards. He ran for more than 800. So as athletic as he is, his numbers suggest that, as a high school quarterback, he's a pretty established passer. Now, having said that, he's in the 6'1", 168, 170 range. I think he was 6 feet 168 at the opening Dallas, where he worked out with defensive backs because, as we know, most schools are wanting him to play corner. I think he has the frame for it. He's built like a above average, taller, longer corner. He's got a lean, sinewy build that he's not going to bulk up to, really be like safety size or anything, but he's got enough space on him to be that long, lean, athletic corner with enough bulk and strength to go up against bigger receivers. From a testing standpoint, you look at the 40, you see 4.65 on a laser. It's a pretty good time for a corner. Ultimately, you'll want faster, but that's the 40 time thing is a soapbox issue for me because I don't know if a lot of people have the perspective on verified times that some of us who get to do this on a daily basis do. I think a lot of people kind of think you're supposed to run a 4.5 or a 4.4 if you're a guy in a position like this. But the reality is that there are very few guys in high school who are going to be verified on an electronic timing system that fast. So if you combine the 4.65 with a 4.13, 4.14 shuttle, that's a very good shuttle time. And that suggests he has some pretty good lateral mobility, some quick twitch, some fluidity, which obviously is very critical for a cornerback. I think, again, he's not they've really been putting a lot of corner stuff on tape because he's asked to be the starting quarterback for a team that went 11-1 in 6A this past year. But he has the tools to become a very good cornerback as he develops at that position.
Very cool. The question that I had, having watched him play a position that, again, he does not play in high school and one that he's being recruited at, particularly at Oklahoma, what did he look like when he matched up with wide receivers? When you were talking about, the soapbox issue that you mentioned of the 40 time and looking at shuttle times and how quickly those guys can get in and out of breaks and how quickly they can recover, how did he look when we were talking about going on the longer routes on the route tree, the post goes, the goes?
He held his own. He doesn't have a ton of experience even in the elite camp circuit or select 7-on-7 and playing in corner. Now he's getting it. He's gotten some this off season. He wasn't out there dominating or anything, but he held his own. He has shown in those situations that he's somebody who is going to be able to potentially be very, very good at that position long term. I mentioned the 4.65 thing. Another thing you have to take into account on his athleticism is he is a verified 10.80 100-meter guy. And when you start getting sub-11 in the 100 meters as a high school junior, that's moving. So his top-end speed is encouraging from that standpoint. Now, again, like you mentioned, the going up against receivers and knowing the route tree and getting in and out of breaks and all that, that's something that's going to come with time just because he hasn't done it as much. But he has the natural athleticism and fluidity that suggests he will be able to do that pretty well as he continues to develop.